Hello there, and welcome to my channel once again, where I'm busy creating one more short video on Robinson Crusoe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we in India study Robinson Crusoe as just a text. But this man actually went to certain places at certain dates and was based on a man named Alexander Selkirk, who also had his own dates. So, what story do those dates tell us? That's what my short video is going to take a look at. And I am going to share my screen where I have a small PowerPoint presentation, which is titled Robinson Crusoe Maps and Dates. Now, all of you know that the entire action takes place off the coast of Chile. But for those of you for whom Latin America, South America is not so familiar, here is the map. And you can see the Pacific Ocean, the South Pacific Ocean, where the action will take place. You know that Crusoe has been a plantation owner in Brazil. So he sets sail and travels across the sea. And approximately at this point, his ship is wrecked. And he's isolated and marooned on the islands off the coast of Chile. What are these islands? These islands are the Juan Fernandez Islands, now known as Alexander Selkirk Island and Robinson Crusoe Island. Fancy that, isn't it? An entire set of islands named after fictional characters. Now, therefore, this is Chile, the coast of Chile, the South Pacific Ocean, and here do we have the Juan Fernandez Islands. Maybe if you take a look at these islands, which are slightly northern to it, these would be the islands from which Friday's people would have come to the shore of the Juan Fernandez Islands. Now, incidentally, the Juan Fernandez Islands were known as the Mas a Tierra Islands earlier. And here, if you want to take a look at what the island would have looked like, here is a picture. Now, you can take a look at the settlements now that have happened. When Robinson Crusoe came here, it would have been surely absolutely empty. You have the shoreline here where he would have been washed up. You have the valley here where he would probably have made his habitation and his sort of castle. Here are the valleys where you can see there's lush vegetation, and he would have found the fowls and the animals to sustain him. Of course, you can also see that the island all across has no other, piece of land. So you can understand why for Crusoe, this island would have been like a prison house and why he would have been cast into despair. So that's the Juan Fernandez Island, the Mas a Tierra Islands. How about the dates of the people? Alexander Selkirk, remember the sailor on whom this entire piece of work is based. 1676, born as Alexander Selkirk in Scotland. Now, 1704, he leaves the ship Cinque Ports voluntarily and stays on Juan Fernandez Island. Remember, Selkirk feels that this ship will sink in a few months' time. He was absolutely right. Now, October 1704, he stays voluntarily, unlike Robinson Crusoe, who is marooned. He's rescued by Woodus Rogers in February 1709 after 4 years and 4 days on the island. So 4 years, 4 days, rescued by Woodus Rogers. His account is published by Richard Steele, the famous essayist, in 1711, and by Woodus Rogers in 1712. So between 1711 and 1712, Selkirk would have shot into fame. And it is approximately around this time that I think Daniel Defoe must have either read about him or met him. Now, that is a mystery which we will never solve. Robinson Crusoe is published in 1719, April 1719 to be more precise. Selkirk, after coming back from Juan Fernandez Islands, goes into a state of depression, becomes moody and violent, and in 1720 goes back to sea, where he dies out of yellow fever in 1721. He's buried at sea like many of his comrades. And I guess this was a proper end to a man who lived and died by the sea. How about Robinson Crusoe? What were the dates for him? If you take a careful look at the exact dates that Defoe seems to imprint upon the text, Crusoe leaves his home in 1651 after disobeying his father. That remains his original sin. So 1651, when England is still under the throes of the Civil War, when the parliamentarians are reigning supreme, and when Hobbes has just published his Leviathan. 3rd September 1659, he's marooned. So he's been around for 8 years, but on 3rd September 1659, remember, he's marking his dates very carefully, he's marooned on Juan Fernandez Island, like Alexander Selkirk, or based on the life of Alexander Selkirk. But notice the next date, 19th December 1686. So that's 28 years, 2 months, and 19 days. He is rescued by Woodus Rogers. The England that he will come back to on 16th June 1687. And Crusoe meticulously records this date, would have been a very different England. It would have seen the Restoration. It would have witnessed the Great Fire of London, the Great Plague, and it would be on the verge of a new dawn of the Enlightenment, where the Glorious Revolution is there, and where England is now more of a free country, where dissenters can actually publish their own works. So what Defoe has done is taken a story from 1709 onwards and pushed it back into time. Pushed it back almost by 60 years into a time of tumult and turmoil. So the private tribulations and turmoils of Robinson Crusoe take place in the backdrop of the national turmoils of England. Did you love the dates? I was fascinated by it, and if you have loved it, thank you for watching. If not, and if you've been bored, sorry, but I guess you can always visit the next short video that I make. Welcome back again to my channel, and do remember that this is the 3rd video of the series on Robinson Crusoe that I'm making. Thank you very much for watching, and do look forward to seeing you soon on my channel once again.